Okay, I can see people in the waiting room, 3 people in the waiting room.
Yeah.
So
I'll just leave the call. You can continue.
yeah, sure. I'll continue.
So
Yeah.
this maybe, yeah, maybe I would get the recording. I'll share
Yeah.
this with you after the session.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, let me admit people then.
Yeah, carry on.
Hi everyone. Hi Robin. Hi, hi Giorgio. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Okay, thank you for dialing in. We'll just wait for the participants to dial in. Meanwhile, we can have a chit chat. So, which country are you dialing from?
I'm from Singapore.
Okay, awesome. Hi Nitya. Okay, we'll just wait for the people to dial in. So meanwhile, the guys who have joined, you would have one link in the Excel meetup. And the idea is whatever I'm showing on the screen, you can also practice. So if you have this access to this file, from the same URL where you RSVP to the event, you can just click on the file which says download links and you should be able to see the files. I'll paste that in the chat as well. Okay. Please. Do you guys have access to the files which I have just shared? So those are the Excel files which we are going to automate today. So the idea is you can also follow along with me and practice the same. I have pasted the link in the chat just now. Hey Remus, hi Nichapat. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that right. Hi Giorgio.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
We'll just wait. Hello. I'm just waiting for more participants to dial in and then we can start. Meanwhile, in the chat, I have just pinged URL to the Excel files which we would be automating in today's session. In case you want to practice along with me, you can also do that on your machines. So if any one of you can please confirm if you have access to those files. So it would be a link UiPath OneDrive.
Mukesh, I have
Yep.
clicked the link and it requires me to sign into the UiPath SharePoint. And I have logged in already and it says there forbidden, 403 forbidden.
Okay.
Yep. Is it okay for you to share over the chat group instead then?
Yeah. That is what I am doing. So,
Thank you.
yeah. And these are the two files. And
So where will you find these documents?
yeah, so these are the documents which I will use for our demonstration. In case you want to try along with me, you can always use these files. So I'll just quickly share those files. I don't know why that SharePoint link is not working. Chat in the files from your computer.
You can give us a link or something like that with the
Yeah,
document.
I have provided the link, but some of you might not seems to have the access, but I have just now pinged the file in the chat. So you should be able to see those files in the chat now. There would be two files. One would be a CSV and another would be an Excel. Okay, so I see a lot of people still joining. Meanwhile, if you guys want to introduce yourself, where you are dialing from, is it your first community meetup, how things are going on in UiPath, then we can make a start.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just introduce myself. My name is Mukesh Kala. I am UiPath MVP 2021, working as a senior RPA developer for one of the banking client. So today here to give you a session on Excel automations. Okay, so it's 3. We'll just wait for 2 more minutes and then I can still see people dialing in the webinar. Okay. Okay, so are you guys able to see my screen? I have just pulled up an PPT.
Yes.
Okay, thank you
Yes.
for that. And so how we will
แป๊บนึงนะแป๊บนึงแม่กำลังโทรแม่ก็เพิ่งมาแทรกสายที
Okay, guys, I'm going to mute everyone. And when we come to the Q&A session, you can raise your hands or I'll ask to unmute you guys. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
meanwhile, I'm muting everyone. Okay, so it's already 15:02, so we can make a quick start. Okay, so hi everyone. Just a quick introduction. My name is Mukesh Kala, working as UiPath MVP, not working as actually working as a senior RPA developer and UiPath MVP for 2021. Today, I am here to present and give you an idea about the Excel automation. Now, why Excel automation? Because most of the companies or most of the enterprise where we would be doing the automation, Excel is one thing which every company will have. So hence, is it important to do the Excel automation? You should know that what are the activities available, how do we automate, and what are the things we need to take care of. It is not a very tedious task, but at least you should know the small tips and tricks during the Excel automation. So for that, what we are going to do today, I have kept two files in a folder. One is a Excel file and another is a CSV file. We are going to use both of these for our automation. We will do some of the real-time example, and in between we would have some small quiz as well. Okay, so let me start. This is my UiPath Studio. I will go here and I will create a new sequence. So this is the sequence we will going to use for the today's webinar. I'll call this sequence Excel webinar. So this is the sequence which we are going to use today. Now, I have the Excels which are placed in a folder in my documents temp Excel automation webinar and these two Excels. Now, whenever I have to read an Excel in UiPath, so how we are going to structure? First, we will read, then we write, then we append, and then we do next set of actions. So the first thing in Excel automation is how do I read an Excel? So first of all, we go to the project. In the dependencies, you should have this dependencies available, which is uipath.excel.activities. That means if you are having this activity, if dependency, then only you will be able to see the Excel related activities. Otherwise, you won't see the Excel related activities in your activity pane. So that is the first thing. You have to have this dependency. So when by default you create a project, you already get this thing. Now, if I have to go to the activities and if I have to read an Excel, to read an Excel, UiPath has an activity which is called read range. As soon as I type read range here, you see I am getting two activities. One is in the app integration Excel read range and the other is the workbook read range. Now you might ask me, Mukesh, you told that read range is there, but how would I be able to select which read range to use? So for that, a simple thing, app integration Excel, this set of activities will only work when the Excel is installed on your machine. And in case the Excel is not installed on your machine and you still want to automate, then you go by the workbook activities. So simple difference, whenever you have Excel installed on the machine, you will use the activities which are coming inside the app integration Excel and the read range. If you don't have the Excel installed, you will always go and use the write range. But if you have Excel installed, even though you can use the workbook this guy read range. Now one more thing, since this is under the Excel and app integration, so the first thing, if you want to use this set of activities, you would have to always drag and drop the first thing which is called the Excel application scope. So you can just think this as a big container. In that container, you will specify, you will tell UiPath that, hey UiPath, I am going to read an Excel. UiPath will ask you, okay, tell me where that Excel is placed. So I will click here and I will simply point it to the Excel which we have placed. So it was available in my documents, in the temp, in the Excel automation webinar. So this is the XLSX file which I want to read. I'll click on this and I'll open. Now, if I just simply open the Excel for you guys, you might notice that there are multiple sheets. How would UiPath know that which sheet I have to read? There is a data sheet, there is data in sheet 1. So for that, we would have to tell UiPath that the Excel is available. Now, which sheet you want to read? So now the activity which I was talking about was read range. So I will use the read range. Now why I am using the read range? Because Excel is installed on my machine and I am using the Excel application scope. So I will drag and drop this read range inside this. One thing to note here, if you will use the read range of the Excel outside the Excel application scope, it will give you an error saying that activity is valid only inside the Excel application scope. So thumb rule, whenever you are doing Excel automation using any of the activities which are available inside app integration and Excel, all these activities will be valid only in the Excel application scope. So that is the first thing. Okay. Now I have got the Excel with me. I have told UiPath that you have to read the sheet. Now UiPath will say that you have too many sheets. You have data, you have sheet, you might have more. Which one to read? So I'll tell UiPath I want to read the data sheet. So I will simply go to here. In the sheet name, I will specify here something called data. Now the next thing is UiPath will ask me, what is the range? What range do you want? In case you want to read the complete sheet, you will keep this thing as blank. In case you want to read only specific data, let's say from here to here, this is A1 and this is A16. So you can always specify here A1 to A16 like this. But as of now, I want to read the complete sheet. Whenever you do any kind of automation in UiPath, you just click on the activity, go to the properties and you see what all property it is having, right? So let us try to see what all property the read range is having. So the first thing is the display name. So what I am reading here, I am read ranging the data. So it is always good to rename the activities so that in case of exception, the UiPath will give you that this activity has faulted. Okay. Now there is something which is called private. This would be available. If you uncheck, it won't create logs in the WebROS level. So this is something which would be available for all the activities. Our main concern is this thing, the sheet name, we have passed data, and in the range, we have passed the double quotes. That means I want to read the entire sheet. Now, these three options are very important. I'll tell you one by one. The first one is add headers. So UiPath is asking me, is the first data in the column A1, is it a header or not? If I check this data as add header, that means UiPath will treat this guy, the first thing as header. If I uncheck this, it will treat vendor in system also as some kind of data. So as of now, let me go and check add headers. I'll talk about this thing in a moment. Now, when you go and talk about the output, whenever you read some data from the Excel, you always get an output, and the output is in form of a data table. Whenever I am talking to students, or whenever, let's say, I'm taking interviews, many times I ask this question to the candidate, that what is the output of the read range? So people say it is string. It is not string, it is a data table. Now, what is a data table? Data table is simply, in the simplest form, it is a combination of rows and columns. So if I ask you what is this? This is a table. If this table is having some data, I would call it data table. Now I would read the Excel. UiPath will read this Excel. It will read this sheet. It will read the entire data and store the output in a variable of data type. Now the beauty of UiPath, you don't have to go. So one option of creating variable, it is always to go here, select the activity and create the variable. But the other way is you always go to the properties. Wherever you have to create the variable, hit Control+K and select dt underscore data. So this, I have created a variable of data type table. Now the beauty of UiPath will already create a variable for me. It will select the correct data type. Otherwise, the other option was I have to create a variable myself, and then I have to manually select the data table from browse for type and all, right? So it is the easier way of doing. So I'll delete the extra one. So now I have read the data. The data is available, and it is available in a data table which is called dt underscore data. Now what do I want to do with that data? Let's say as of now, I simply want to know how many rows are available in that data. So I'll go to the activities, and let me quickly drag and drop a message box. Okay. In the message box, I am simply going to print how many rows are available. So I will use the dt data, because this is where I have read the data, dot rows. That means all the rows which are available, dot count. Okay, what is the count? Dot toString, because this would be in a form of a string. The count would be in form of an integer. So I'm, for the message box to run, it expects a string. So I'll save everything, and let me go here and run the file. Now the expectation is UiPath should read this file, and it should give me the how many rows are available. So we'll just wait for the automation to fire up. Okay, the bot is running and it says 15. Okay, let me go to the Excel and see there are 15 rows, because we have marked the first guy as header. Now you notice the difference. As soon as I go to the read range and I tell UiPath that you don't have to consider this as the header. Now if I save everything, now if I go here and select run the file, now UiPath will treat this top one also as the, see, now the count is 16, right? So that is how UiPath differentiate and between the headers and not headers. Now one more property of UiPath is called preserve formatting and use filter. Okay, this one we will talk when we come to the right range. So this was all about reading the data from the Excel. Now I told you at the beginning that there are two activities. One is the Excel and other is the normal one. So if I go and type read range here, you would see there are two read range. The first one is work with the Excel application scope. If I drag and drop the second one in the studio, you will see it is not asking me the Excel application scope, because this guy can work directly. I will just go here. I will point it to the same location which I was using in the documents. In the temp, I have Excel webinar and open. The same concept, the Excel is here, the sheet name is here, which range you want to read, and in the properties, what is the output? It is again coming as the data table. So this is the primary difference between the two. How do you read the data? Now, I have read the data. I understood that the data which is read, there are two activities. One is called the Excel, one is called the workbook activities. The difference is known. When we read the data is coming in the form of data tables. Now the question arises, what I can do with the data. Let's say I have a simple automation where I want to read the data from this sheet and I want to write it to a new sheet which is called sheet 2. So let me go and delete this sheet as of now. So I want to read the data. So for reading the data, I have used an activity called read range. The data was available. I have added the headers. The data table was available here. Now to write the data, I will again use an activity which is called write range. Similarly to the read range, you have two write range also. So now if I want to use it inside the Excel application scope, I will use this write range. I will drag and drop this guy here. Now, write range will ask me, okay, you want to write the data, tell me the sheet name where you want to write. So I will specify here the sheet name, let's say sheet 3. And if the sheet is not available, UiPath will automatically create it. If the sheet is available, write range will override the data. So that is where you have to be make sure that what sheet name are you passing here. So I say that I want to write the data in sheet 3. Sheet 3, I want the data to start from A1. In case you want the data to start from other cell, you can do that. Now, write range. So the output of read range was a data table. So input of write range would be now a data table, and that would be simple, but this variable only. Now what I'm telling UiPath, you go and read the data sheet. Whatever data you get, you store it in this variable and write in sheet number 3. Let me go here and run the file. Now UiPath robot will work and the execution would be done. And if I go to the Excel, you see the data from the data sheet was as it is pasted in the sheet number 3. So that is how the write range works. Now, before I tell about more of this, in the Excel application scope, there is a property which is called the visible. So this visible property means, so as of now, if you see, I have opened the Excel and if I run the bot, still it is working and I'm able to see the bot working. If that is the automation need, if you want to see how the robot is working, you can click this visible. If I uncheck this visible, now everything will happen in the background and I will directly get the result. So that is also an option. So that option is available with the Excel application scope, visible or invisible, right? So as of now, we are in the webinar. So I'll again make it to visible and we want to see what is happening, right? So I have read the data, I have write the data. Now, if you will see here, you can notice that in the data sheet, I was having some in the data sheet, there was a dollar sign available here, right? And there was a, I will just highlight this guy. So there was a dollar sign in this guy, there was a dollar sign in this. And if I go to the sheet 3, there is a dollar sign here, but it has lost the header. Can you see here the header was available, here the header is not available. That is because in the write range, we have told UiPath that you don't have to add headers. So now if I go here and I click on this button which says add headers, now UiPath will go and add headers. Let me save everything. And now instead of sheet 3, let me paste the data in sheet number 4. I'll go here and run the file. Now what will happen? Bot will create a new sheet, which would be, we call sheet number 4. And if you see here, now we have got the this guy also, the header also. Now, one more important thing to remember here is that this has the data which we are pasting is always pasted and from one sheet to another sheet. You always has an option to configure this sheet. So as of now, I have hard coded the sheet 4, sheet 5, sheet 6. When you do the real world automation or automation for any project or the company, all this name would be stored in a configuration file. They can come from a different source. You can generate the sheet numbers in runtime. So as of now, I'm hard coding the cells, but in the real time automation, these things would be made configurable. So the idea would be in future, if the client wants you to save the data in not sheet 4, but sheet number 10. So you don't have to come to the automation. So these things would be made configurable. So these are the two activities, read range and write range. Similarly, if I show you the write range for the workbook, this would be exactly same. The only difference would between this write range and this write range would be that this write range does not have the workbook path, because it is already inside this scope. And whenever I start with the Excel application scope, I already am passing the Excel path here. So that is why in the workbook I am not having that scope. That is why I have to manually drag and drop the full path here. So that is the only difference. Otherwise, everything working of the read range and the write range is absolutely the same. Now, one more important thing in the read range is there you have seen something called the use filter. So for that, let me go to my data sheet again. Let's say okay, let me go to this data sheet and I will put a filter here. Okay, so I will go here, short and filter, and I'll put a filter here. And let me just put a filter only for the one which are having dollars. Okay, so as of now my sheet is having the data, but in the Excel sheet I have applied the filters. Now if I use the read range activity, okay, here I'll go back. In the read range activity, if I go to the properties and if I check this options which says use filter, that means I am telling UiPath that whatever filter is applied, you just read the data with the filter. So in the previous option, I have unchecked it, so it read the complete data. But if I use this filter, now the data will be in DT data. And let me, while writing the data, let me write it in sheet 5. Now let us see the difference. What difference actually that tick mark can do through your automation. So I will run the automation. Now the expectation is bot will create a new data which is called sheet number 5. So in the sheet number 5, the bot has only pasted 2 records. Why? Because bot has we have applied the filter here, and while reading the data I told UiPath that you consider the filter. If I uncheck this, and if even the filter is applied, now if I uncheck and now if I run, and now let me create a new sheet which I called sheet number 6. Now in the sheet number 6 I should get the complete data, because when reading the file I am telling UiPath that you don't have to consider the filter. So in the sheet number 6 now I'm again getting the entire data, right? So that is one thing. So I hope you understand that how much difference this property can make. Okay, now if you will notice guys, one thing here, I will simply let me delete the extra things. I'll delete this guy also. I have created lot many sheets. Okay, so if you see here I have some coloring done here, right? So this was in some reddish color, there is having some blue color, the formatting. When I do a read range write range, I am losing the formatting. Is there an option to preserve the entire thing? So for example, if I want to entirely get this thing to a new sheet, how can I do that in UiPath? So UiPath has an activity which is called the copy sheet. So that is nothing but creating a copy of the existing sheet, and it is very simple to use. Let me disable the read range. I will disable the write range. Now in the copy sheet, what you can do is you have to simply go to the properties. You have to tell which sheet you want to copy. So the input. Okay, so for me the input is data. So I go here and in the sheet, I will write here in the double quotes data. Now it will ask me where is the destination sheet. So the destination file path is the same file path. Okay, because we want to copy in the same Excel. If I want to copy the file in some other Excel, that is also doable. And then what is the destination sheet name? So I'll call this as copy. Okay, I save this and let me try to run this file now. Now the expectation is the bot will copy the data sheet as it is to a new sheet which is called a copy. Okay, so if you see here, bot has created a copy here. So that is exactly the same. Okay, now that was about copying the same data from one sheet to another, making a copy. How about appending the data? let's say I have an automation where I have to copy this data from this like this. Let me try to do it manually. I have to control C this data here in the copy sheet. I want to paste it whenever where till where the data is available. So I just simply want to do this. So what I am doing basically, I am appending the data, right? So you would have guessed it, to append the data in UiPath, that was the copy sheet. Now to append the data, we have something which is called the append range. Okay, append range is the activity which is available. Now append range, if you go to the properties, append range will ask me, okay, I will append the data, I will append the data in this sheet, but I require a data table. That means you should give me a data which I need to paste. Okay, so I will just enable my previous activity, which was reading the data from the data sheet. So we are reading the data from the data sheet, we are storing the data and adding the headers and getting the data table in dt underscore data. Now when I have to append the data, I will simply specify that which sheet I want to append the data. So the sheet which I want to append is copy sheet. Okay, so let me go here and I say copy copy. Now it will ask me, okay, I will append the data, but give me the data table. So the data table is dt data, as simple. And if I go and run the file, now what should happen? The bot will copy the data from the data sheet, store it in a data table, and it will append the data in the copy sheet. Okay, so it has appended the data from here because these row are coming as some kind of data. So because we would have added something here, some kind of formulas or spaces, so to mitigate such kind of risk, what we do is, let me, so I would have added some blank data here, blank rows here. So UiPath is thinking that there is data, so that is why it has appended it, right? So one quick fix, it would be to delete the extra rows like this. Okay, control shift and I am doing, and then I will delete the extra rows here. Okay, so now I can see the data is available till here. Let me save everything and run the file. But that might not always be the case, right? How would I know that till where the data is available? Okay, so I have rerun the automation and UiPath correctly pasted it here. So that was simply an append range where I was just appending the data to a existing set of data. Now if I ask you, that was simple about appending and reading the data. Okay, I will talk about one concept a little bit moment when I tell you about the cell. Similarly to the read range and the write range, we have some activity which is called the read cell. Okay, so I hope you guys know what exactly a cell is. So if I ask you which is this cell, so this cell is A4. Which is this cell? This cell is A9. Which is this cell? This cell is A16. So in UiPath, during your automation, if there is a need, do you want to read the cell? So I will drag an activity which is called the read cell. I am using Excel application scope. So using this guy, I can always use this read cell here and pass the file path. That is the same concept again. Go to the activities. I will drag and drop a read cell. And let me quickly disable this guy, disable this guy also. Okay. So read cell will ask me, okay, I will read the cell, but tell me the sheet name. I will tell you that the sheet which you have to read the data is the data sheet, and you have to tell me the content of the cell D1. And whatever content you get, you store that content in a variable called cell value. So I hit Control plus K and created a variable called cell value. Now whatever data I am getting in the cell value, I simply want to display that data in a message box. Okay, so that is it. Let me try to see what data, what is the value which is available in D1. So this would be in a scenario, let's say when you are doing a company automation and you have to read some kind of total from the Excel. Okay, so in the message box, I have got nothing. Let me convert this guy to a toString. Okay, and run the file. So this would be useful, let's say whenever you do some automation and you want to see that what value are you getting. Okay, I am not getting some data. Why? Because, okay, see what mistake I have done. If you see here, the data is written in smaller and I have passed the data in caps here. That is why UiPath is telling Mr. Mukesh, I am not able to find the data sheet. So read cell, I'll go to the properties. Let me validate. The sheet name is D1. I want to store the data here. Okay. Now let me go and run the file. Okay. And in the, okay, in the message box, it says it is getting some issue. Let me check what. Okay. Okay. D1 is not having any data. Okay, perfect. So I should have passed A4. D1 is not having any data. Correct. So that is basically, so that is a correct point because D1 is not having any data. But why I was giving an error? Because I am, when Excel tried to read it, if you will see, so just try to understand it. I was reading and converting that value to string. Now there it will try to convert that null value to string. So that is why it was giving an error. So basically I want to read it for A4. Thank you, whoever it was. I just didn't see the name, but thank you for that. But you would have seen that what happens if you pass the wrong cell reference, Excel will give you an error. So I have passed A4. That means the bot was successfully able to give me this guy. So this would be useful. Let's say you are doing an automation for any big company and there is a total. You want to get that total and you want to use that total in other application. So for that, you will use read cell. Similarly to the read cell, you would have one more activity which is called write cell. Okay, so in the write cells, the again the same concept. I will just delete the read cell now. Where do you want to write the data? I want to write the data in the data sheet. I want to write the data in, let's say, B1 column, and I want to write UiPath. Okay, now the expectation is when I run the data, UiPath will be able to write in the this cell whatever value I have mentioned, right? So if you will see here, UiPath was able to write UiPath here. So that is simple read cell and write cell. Now in the real-time automation, whenever you are doing, it would not be always appending of the data, right? Let's say, okay, I will create one scenario for myself. Let's say I have this copy sheet. I will cut this data and I will paste it from here. Okay. Now let's say I want to append the data from the data sheet. If I copy and if I want to paste it from here, now how would I do it? If I use the append range activity will always append the data from the cell. It will read all the data. But if I have some requirement where the data is scattered, like let's say this guy or this data and this, and now I want to append and write the data specifically from this cell. How do I do that? So for that, you would have to play some small tricks in UiPath. You would have to know some small concept in UiPath. Then you would be able to automate this. I'll quickly show you some of the tricks. Let me just cut this guy. I'll paste it. So let's say my data is available like this. Okay, here, and I will just delete this rows. Okay, so now the idea is I want the automation not to write the data from here, but to write the data from here. But this cell is absolutely dynamic. Sometime it is here, sometime it can be till here, sometime the data can be like this, right? You are not sure that how many rows are available. So for that, what you will do is you will use some small tricks, which is called the data table count. So what I have to do, the end objective of mine is to read the data sheet from this guy and copy in the copy sheet till here. That is in the cell number Q7. But how would I get the cell Q7? So for that, what I will do is I will use an activity which is called the read range activity. Okay. In the read range activity, I will go and use the copy sheet. Here I will write COPY copy sheet. I will tell UiPath in the copy sheet, you have to read the data from the cell Q1 because this is fixed, right? So if I go here, I would have to write here Q1. Now what would happen? UiPath would read the data in the Q1, it will only get this records. Okay, let me go to the properties. I'll hit Control plus K. I will create a data called dt underscore temp. Okay, that is a temporary data. I have the headers. Yes. Now the next thing what I will do is I will go and take an assign activity. Okay, in that assign activity, I will create an integer variable. Let's say I will create an integer underscore count variable. So in the integer underscore count, I simply want to have the count, and I have changed this to integer 32. I simply want to count the number of rows which are available from Q1, right? So how, where I have data, the data is in dt temp. So I go here and I write dt temp dot rows dot count. Okay, that means I'm telling UiPath, you tell me the row count which you are having. Now UiPath will tell me this is the row count. Okay, now let me use a write line activity. So the write line activity is used to whenever you want to type something to console, and I'll quickly print dot toString. Okay, let me try to quickly run this automation and see what happens. I'll delete the extra ones. Okay, as of now, simple thing, I have to copy the data from the data sheet and I have to append it to this guy, not here, right? So what do? I use an copy sheet. I read the data from Q1, taking the count and printing the count. We have still not pasted. We'll build the logic one by one. Okay, now I'll just wait for the robot. And if I go to the output now, you see that I have got a 5 number. That means I have got 5 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including one header, total 5. Okay, that's good. That means in the count variable, I am getting a value of 5. Now I have to write some data to it, right? So to write the data, I would use an activity which is called the write range. But before that, we would have to load the data. So to load the data, what I do is I will use an activity called read range. Now this read range, I will get the source data. So the my source data is available in the data sheet. So I will go here and I will pass here data, and I am going to read the entire sheet. And in the properties, this data table, I will call it dt underscore source. Okay, so this is the source data. So it is always when you are writing such kind of logic, always remember to rename the activities. Okay, so here I am read ranging. This logic is just to get the count. This I have read ranged the source, and I have stored the data in dt underscore source. Now I have to simply write the data. To write the data, I will use an activity which is called the write range activity. Now I will use the write range activity. Write range activity will ask me, give me the sheet name. Though the sheet name where I have to write is the copy. So here I will specify copy. The data table again, which data table I have to pass? The data table is dt underscore source. Now this is the important bit, the cell where I want to type the data. So if I check manually, I have to write the data in the cell Q7, right? And when I triggered the robot and got the count, I was getting a count of 5. That means 5 plus 2 equal to 7. So if I tell UiPath that while writing the data, why don't you write the data in the cell number Q plus integer of whatever count you are getting, add 2 to that count. So I will, whatever count I was getting in this variable integer count, I will add 2. Okay, and this will give me 7. So the count would be 5 plus 2 equal to 7. I am concatenating this with q, so this becomes q7, and this is a string, so dot to string. Now what I am doing, I am telling UiPath, okay, that you read the data first from the copy sheet, you get how many row count are there. So UiPath has given me a row count of when I triggered the automation, it has given me the row count of 5. Okay, so I triggered here 5. and we printed this one. Now I got the source data, and while writing the data, I am telling UiPath that you have to simply go and write the data in the DT source. But where I have to write the data, this I am creating dynamically. So why I have added +2? Because manually I can see that this has to be written in Q7. Let me go here and run the file. Now the expectation is it will go, it will read the data table, load it, and if I go here, you can see it has pasted the data from the exact cell, that was Q7. So that is how in your when you do the real-time automation in Excel, you won't always get a straightforward scenario. Sometimes the data would be here, sometimes the data would be here. But if you know some these small techniques, you would be able to automate that. So that was one thing. Now you would be noticing that whenever I am doing any kind of automation or any of the Excel automation, one thing is important, which is called the sheet name. And to do any automation, you require a sheet name, that is a mandatory. But now if I ask you a question, let's say we are in a company and we are getting an Excel in an email attachment. Sometime the client sends me the Excel with a name or with a sheet name data. Someday he changes the name to file. Someday he changes the name to, let's say, ABC. Someday the client changes the name to XYZ. Okay. Now the client says that I don't know what is the correct name of the sheet, so I can send you anything, but as a requirement, you have to read the sheet. Now, if I have to read the data, I would have to use a read range activity, right? Let me delete the extra ones from here. Okay, so let's say the client says you that I want you to read the data, but you would say, Mr. Client, you have to tell me the sheet name, because read range expects a sheet name, right? Without the sheet name, how will I write it? No, but client says, no, I cannot change. I'm not sure, because sometime I would share you ABC. So for such kinds of scenario, we have something which is called the worksheets. So you will go to the activities, and there is an activity which is called get workbook sheets. Okay, so get workbook sheets is a simple activity. I will drag and drop it here. You will see in the property it is having no inputs, it is just having output. So get workbook sheet will return you all the name of the sheets which are available. Okay, so if I go to the sheets but I don't know what is the return type here, you can always hover. It wants you to create a output of list of strings, right? But I don't want to create list of strings manually. I will hit Ctrl+K and I will say worksheets. Now UiPath will intelligently create a variable for me which says worksheets, and this correct data type is selected. That means if I run the get workbook sheet, it will give me all the names. But how do I use it? Because since this is a list of string, that means I am having the sheet name in a list. So in the, I will show you how exactly that looks like. So let me breakpoint here. This I would run in debug mode now. In the debug mode, we will be able to visualize what UiPath is seeing. Okay. So I have put a debugger here. I have run the file in the debug mode. If you remember, we have stored the output in a worksheet. Let me go to the locals, and in the locals, you can see the variable worksheet is having 3 items, right? I can click on this pencil icon and you can see that UiPath was able to give me ABC, sheet and copy in list form. Okay, so that means my get workbook sheet is working. Okay, now if I have to use the sheet, because I am having a list of string and the read range, I have to pass one string one by one. So how do I iterate the list or any collection? I use an activity which is called for each. Again, there are two for each. This one would be used whenever we are using a data table. This is a normal for each. I drag and drop it here. In the for each item, I would use the worksheet object. Now UiPath will ask me, what are you iterating? We have seen it is a list of strings, so this guy would be string. Now I can simply use a message box. Okay, in the message box I will print. So here we are iterating the sheets. So in the message box I say sheet. Okay, let me save everything. I'll disable this guy. Now if I run the automation, what will happen? Get workbook sheet will get me all the sheet names which are coming from the Excel. Whatever the client changes the name, I will get the names in this list of strings. Let me go here and run the file. Now the expectation is I will get all the names one by one in message box. So the first sheet name ABC, sheet 1, and then copy. Okay, now if I am get able to write the sheet name in the message box, I can always use a read range activity. Okay, and in the read range activity, you simply have to pass the sheet. That is it, as simple as that. You have to simply pass the sheet and you will be able to read it. But let's say when you have a requirement that you always want to read the first sheet or the second sheet, so in this object you can always, this is an array, so you can always use the index worksheet of 0, worksheet of 1, worksheet of 2, and that will give you sheet one by one. So that is how simple it is to use the get workbook sheets. Okay, so copy, delete. Okay, now I just talk about inserting of the data. How about deleting of the data, right? So to delete the data, I simply go and type here delete. And you see that I have something which is called the delete range. So delete range is an activity which you have to specify the range, that what range you want to delete. So let's say I want to delete the data from A1 to A10. Okay, the sheet name you have to pass it and it will delete it. Now it will have some option. Which are these option? These are exactly the same option which you get here. Let's say if I go here and if I press the delete button. Okay, okay, let me go here and I press the delete button. So this is shifting the cells up. So when you delete the cell, where exactly you want to shift? So let's say if you delete the data from here, and if I simply press the delete button, it is deleting and doing nothing. But if you go and delete it from here, UiPath will automatically adjust it. But if you want to specifically select that where you want to shift the options, you want to shift the cells, you will check it. Then where do you want to shift the cells? Up, left, row, entire column? That all options are available. You can try this out. Delete range. And the interesting thing about UiPath is whenever you are not sure about what this activity is doing, you can simply right click on the activity and click on this button which says help. And this will navigate you to docs.uipath.com. There you will have the official documentation of what this guy is doing. This whatever activity we have selected, delete range, the range which you want to delete, this field supports string variable, the sheet name, the shift options, everything, right? So let's say that was one thing. Now assuming that I have to, let's say I will write here some ABCD. Okay, I will write here A, B, okay, my bad, A, B, C, and D. Now if I have to insert a row between these two guys, between B and C, I want to insert one more row. So how do I do it manually? I go here and I select insert, right? So it will insert one row. Similarly in UiPath, if you during your automation, if you feel a need of inserting or deleting of the rows or columns, you always has an activity which is called the insert. Okay, so insert delete column. So if you will see, there is only one activity, there are not two separate activities. So it will ask me, okay, tell me Mukesh, how many columns you want to insert? I say I want to insert 4 columns. It will ask me which position. So the position is an integer variable. Okay, so this is position number 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say I want to insert in position number 3. Okay, so I have got one chat. Let me quickly see. Studio X. Okay, so Sridevi, Studio X is not covered here. We can talk about this later one. So this we are doing, it is on UiPath Studio. Okay, so I have to insert a row. So insert row, this is A, B, C. So insert row will ask me how many columns you want to insert. So I say 4 columns. At which position? Position 1, position 2, position 3. So let's say I specify here position number 3. But how would this activity decide whether I have to insert or delete, right? So in the properties, you have an option which says change mode. If it is add, that means it will insert the columns. If it is remove, it will delete the column. So as of now, let me try and add it. Okay. So now I am telling UiPath that you go to this guy, you go to sheet number 1. Okay. So our sheet was copy sheet. So again, the same concept. You would have to rename the sheet to the copy here. Insert 4 columns at position number 3. Let me save everything. I will just delete this guy and run the file. Okay, thus this position start from 0 or 1. Let us see that. Okay, so I have inserted in the position number 3. That means UiPath has inserted it from 1 to 3. That means the position is starting from 1. Okay, so this was 1, this was 2, this was 3. So if you will see, if I'll just highlight, I have just got a question in the chat. So these are the rows. I'll highlight in some green color. So these are the rows which I have inserted. So that means when I passed here 3, that means UiPath inserted the rows from position number 3, and number of columns you would have understand. So this is actually from which position. So you can treat this as which position you want to insert. So 1 to 3rd position I want to insert. But if you say that index is starting from 0, then you would have to deal with accordingly. So the position works like this. Whatever position you specify here, 3, that means it will count 1, 2, 3, and from that position it will insert that number of columns. I hope that answers. Similarly to the insert and delete columns, we have something called insert and delete rows. So again, the same concept, how many rows I want to insert. Let's say you are writing an automation and you have to insert 100 rows, right? You don't want to do it one by one by one. Why not the automation do it for me? Now the position, now for the columns, this was the position. For the rows, this would be the position. That where I want to insert, I want to insert in the 17th. So I will pass here 17, and it will simply insert the delete rows also, right? Again, the same concept. If you want to delete the rows, you go here and change it to remove. So this is how easy UiPath has made it to do the Excel automation. All you have to do is you should be aware of that the list of activities available. Good thing is you can always go to the activities and see what all options or whatever things you have available, right? Okay, lookup range. This is interesting and I like this one. Okay, so let's say in this sheet I have to okay, in the copy sheet, let me come back to our copy initial one only. I'll copy this data, I will paste the data here. Okay, and in here I type UI path like this. Okay, and let me delete this also. Okay, now I have typed UiPath here. Now let's say I want to write an automation, and I will just copy this data to here, and in the UiPath let me print here RPA. Okay, so this is an data for me. Now I want the robot to write and append the data after RPA. Okay, so you would say that was pretty simple, right? I can always read it from here. But if the data is available here, now what would you do? So let's say the requirement is wherever you find RPA, you would have to append the data from here, from this cell. So if I ask you what is the, where is RPA located? As of now, RPA is located at row number Q14. So if you have to write the data from Q15, if RPA is located here, that means now you have to write the data from T7. If the RPA is located here, that means you have to write the data from K11 because it is at K10. How would I cater such kind of scenarios? Okay, for that, if I ask you manually how I am able to find it, manually what I am doing is I am looking for RPA in the entire sheet, and then I am looking at the cell number, and then I am simply adding 1 to it, right? Similar concept I will apply in UiPath also. But to apply that, I would have to first look up for the value, right? So if I simply go and type here lookup range, you would see UiPath has provided something which is called the lookup range. This lookup range is very simple to use. You just have to specify the sheet which you want to search. Okay. In the range, you have to specify which range you want to select. I'll put double quotes. That means I want to search in the entire sheet and which value I want to search. So let's say I want to search the value RPA. In the lookup properties, I will create the result. I will hit Control plus K and I will create a variable called cellref. And whatever value I am getting, I want to simply print that value in a message box. Okay. So here, let me say cellref dot toString. Okay. Now let us see how this activity behaves. Okay. If I go here and run the file. Okay. K10. That means UiPath was able to find that RPA is written in the cell number K10. So now when I have in my automation, I have got the cell reference K10. I simply have to add one to the K10. But remind you, don't directly add 10 to K10. So you have got K10, right? So what is the value which I require? I require K11. So for that, you would have to write a logic to split this one. You can use a string manipulation normal. You will use the string manipulation. You will split this thing. Whatever you are getting, you will add one to it like this, plus one, and then you will get K11, right? You cannot directly do the cell reference plus one because that is a K10 would be string and plus one would be integer. So you would have to write a small string function to split the K and the 10. You will split it, whatever you are getting the integer value, add one to it, and it will give you the cell reference. So the idea here is to educate you about an activity which was called the uh, this one, lookup range. So similarly to lookup range, you would, whenever UiPath has tried to do most of the activities, copy paste values, formula, lookup range, append range. But now when you do the real time automation, now we are jumping to the part 2 of the workshop. This is where you would actually require to do some of the actual real world things. That includes, let's say, pivot refresh. So what exactly is a pivot? So I will come back to my sheet. Okay. In the sheet one, you see I have this lot of data. I don't want this whole data. I will just copy this. I will go to a new sheet. I will paste it here. Okay. This I have pasted a small set of data here. Okay. So what exactly is a pivot? Pivot are created to kind of a summary, to create a summary of whatever data you are having, right? So let's say you are doing an automation for an inventory management and this is the data, and you already have a pivot which is created. So I will simply create a pivot here. Okay, so I want to create the pivot, let's say at the cell K2. I will create a pivot here for the country maybe. Okay, and the segments will be the value. Okay, I have created a simple pivot. So this pivot means whatever data you are having, it will get all this data. So if you will see here, all the countries are summarized here. So if I, let's say, add one more country, India. Okay, and let me just copy the entire column. I will paste this here, and inside the Canada I type India here. I am not getting the India value reflecting here because I have not refreshed the pivot. So for that, what I have to do is I have to right click on the pivot and click on the refresh. So as soon as I refresh, then I am seeing the count of India, right? So that means pivot refresh is important. So now how do I do that? Okay, I'll delete the India from here. See, now I have deleted India again. It is not getting lost from here. So I will click on refresh and it is lost. Now let's say in your Excel automation scenarios, you are having a requirement where you have to refresh the pivots, right? So for that, UiPath has provided us activities which is called refresh pivot table inside the Excel table and refresh pivot table. Okay, I will drag and drop this activity here. Now I hope now looking at the videos you would have understood that what exactly is the sheet 1. So where exactly is the sheet? The sheet name is sheet number 8. Okay. Now, if I ask UiPath, UiPath is asking me the sheet name and the name of the pivot table. So the name of the pivot table, how can I get it? You can always right click on the pivot table, go to pivot table options, and you will find this name. So for me, the pivot table name is pivot table 4. I'll copy this guy and I will paste this pivot to here. Okay. Now I'll save everything. I will add one row again back here, and I will add one more country, India. As you can see, it is not available here. I'll save the Excel, go back to my UiPath Studio and run the file. Okay. The bot executed and I was able to find India. Now let me ask you one more question. Okay, let's say I have one pivot here. I will copy this pivot and I will paste it here. Now I have two pivots, now three, now four. I have four pivots available now. How would I refresh the pivots? If I go to the activities, I do not have something which is called the refresh pivot table, because at a time I can only provide one pivot table option. But if I have to refresh everything, I would have to go look at the pivot table options and see the name, and then I would have to repeat this activity again and again and again, right? Is there a better alternative? For that, always remember, whenever a business gives you some kind of scenario, ask a question back to your business, how do you do it manually? Right? So business will tell that, see, in the Excel, we go to the data and here we have an option which is called refresh all. We click that button and it refreshes all the pivots. Okay, so you say, okay, if you have that option, I'll teach my robot to do the same. Okay, now what the business did, it came to data and it click on the refresh all. Okay, so that we will always can do with the help of Excel application scope. You will go to the activities, you will take and click activity here. I will drag and drop the click. Now this is UI automation. Indicate on screen. I'll point it to the data. Okay. Next. Okay, it is loading. My cursor is blocked. Okay, so I am telling UiPath to click on the data, and once it has clicked on the data, I want it to click on the button which says refresh all. Okay, so that means whatever the business user was doing, I have told my bot to do the same. Let me go here and run the file. So I will go to the home page so that I will be able to see. Okay, so the bot is executing. It went to the data, it clicked on the refresh all button. So that was pretty smooth, right? I was able to do the same set of operation. Now in Excel, there is one thing which is called shortcut. You don't have to do necessarily all with the keyboard and mouse. If you hover any of the button, let's say this button, if I just keep my mouse, do you see that there is a shortcut associated to it, which is Control plus Alt plus F5? That means if in my keyboard, if I am pressing Control Alt F5, I would be able to do the same set of operation. So why should I do all these steps, right? Why not I go and use an activity which is called the send hotkey. So this send hotkey activity, I will use Control Alt, and here I will write F. Okay, I think I should have those in the drop down also. You can select it from here. Okay, I will use the F5, Control Alt F5. Now let me save everything. I will go here and run the file. But the point which I want to make here is that for every of the Excel operation, see, this is done and the pivots are refreshed. But you should be always knowing that what are the shortcuts. For example, if I have to remove the duplicate, so I will tell the robots that you come here and you click on the remove duplicate buttons. If I have to, let's say, click on the insert button and I have to I have to insert this equation, right? So if there is a formula or a shortcut key which is available, you can always hover like this, Alt plus F5 For the filter, see the filter option is control plus shift plus L. So if you have to apply the filter but you are not getting any activity, one option is to do UI automation. The other option would be just hover and see the shortcut and use the send hotkey key. That way you will be able to do your automation. So I hope that gives you an idea. Okay, then one thing which I have created, I wanted to show it to you was that one more CSV file which I have shared. This was the annual survey CSV file. Okay, so there is a difference between Excel and a CSV file. So Excel, you will have the extension of Excel SX, Excel SB, that is an Excel, whereas a CSV is a comma separated value. It would be more kind of a text file separated by some parameters. So you can always open a CSV file in Notepad also. So I can edit it in Notepad++ also, like this, right? So this is nothing but a comma separated file. So it is separated by comma. In UiPath, you can also read the comma separated values and you can do the functioning with the help of Excel. So let's say I have got this big chunk of data. So this is having approximately 13,000 something 14,000 records. Now a client gave me a requirement that Mukesh, you have to split this data as per agriculture and fishing. So if I go here and if I go to the filters, you would see that I have this many industries, right? All the industries. So this many industries. So the client wanted me to create separate sheet for all industries. So let's say if the first sheet would be the accommodation sheet. So the client want me to do this thing, copy this data, create a new sheet which is called accommodation, paste the data, do it for the other sheet, do it for the other filter. So for accommodation is done, then you have to go to construction, you have to select the construction, you have to select the data, create a new sheet for construction, paste the data here and create a summary for me. So if I have to do this for 30,000 records, it will take very long time. I may make mistakes, right? So this I am going to show it to you how you can do easily with the help of an UiPath small activities. Okay, so similarly to read Excel, to read CSV, you have an activity which is called the read CSV activity, which says read comma separated file. Again, file path, I click on this button, I point it to my documents. In the temp, I have created that CSV file. I'll open it. Now, if you will see, it is again outputting me a data table. So now I hope you understand what exactly is data table. Now in the read CSV property, you haven't delimited. So if my, as of now, my file was separated by comma, how do I know it? I have opened it. Now, if your file is separated by some other delimiter, let's say semicolon, pipe separated, you can use those. So in CSV, you would have only this one. So everything is available. For me, the comma is separated. I have headers and I want to store this data in a variable which is called dt underscore data. Okay. Now what I am telling you about that whatever data you are getting, you should store it in a dt underscore data. Okay. Now for this one, I have already created a XAML because I have to explain the join. So I will quickly show you guys that CSV to Excel. It is very straightforward code. I will explain it to you. So the first thing, we are reading the CSV. Okay. Then I will just copy this quickly here so we don't spend much time writing the code. Okay. So here, what I am telling UiPath that Control K, Control V. Okay, sorry. Okay. In here, I am telling UiPath that whatever data you are getting in dt underscore data, you give me all the names of the industry. So this is nothing but what I did by applying the filters. So UiPath will store each and everything in dt underscore this one, and this would be again a data table. So what I am telling UiPath, you read the CSV, you give me all the headers. So this what I have applied is a simple link queue query, which I am telling that you simply go and get all the common table names from that Excel. So UiPath will tell me, okay, I have got agriculture, this. Now what next I have to do is I have to for each of the sheets. So how do I iterate? So I told you, right, there are two for each. As of now I am having the data in the data table, so I will use the data table for each. Now for each row in the distinct industry, so I have created a data table variable distinct industry. I read everything in an CSV file. I got the distinct industry. Now for each industry I will name this as industry. Now for each industry in the DT distinct industry, what I have to do is I have to create a separate sheets, right? So here I would use an activity which is called, let's say, message box. Let me first use an activity of message box and let me see if I am able to get all the industry name or not. Okay, so the industry name is available in the which column? So if you will see here in the CSV file, if I just open, so as of now what I have told UiPath, that first you have to read the entire CSV file with the help of read CSV, then you have to give me all the distinct industry name with the help of that distinct query. So this I have used a link queue, and in the data distinct industry I have got all the industries which are available. Okay, so here I am using an message box dot to string. Now the expectation is when I run this flow, I should get all the industries name which are available in the sheet. Let me go and run the file. Okay, so as of now there are more industries. So okay, because this is being used by another process, let me go and close the CSV because it was opened by me. Let me go here, I will click OK and run the file. Okay, now the expectation is I should get all the industry name one by one: agriculture and fishing, mining, manufacturing, electricity, gas, construction, wholesale trading, retail trading, accommodation, right? So this I am getting all of the industry names which are available. Okay, now somebody of you are asking what is the link query. This is a link query. I'll paste it in the chat for you guys, and if you want you can simply I will share this XAML with you, the entire thing. You can easily practice, so you don't have to worry about. So I'm not able to open the chat. So this is the link query. What DT data, whatever the data you have, dot default view dot to table true, and then industry name. This will give me all the distinct industry name. I don't know, I'm not able to open somehow the chat, or is it opening? Okay, here it is. Sorry, my bad. Okay, I'll pinged you in the chat. That is the link query. Rather, I will share you this XAML also, right? So once I have every industry name, each and every industry name which I have, the next thing which I have to do is I have to simply filter out the data. So I would read this entire chunk of data, the entire CSV 13,000 rows. So what is the programming approach that we have used, right? We have close to 14,000 rows. Out of those 14,000 rows, first we will get all the industry names. Okay, we will get all the industry names. From all the industry names, now we will split the data. To split the data, we will use an activity which is called the filter data table activity. Okay, now filter data table activity is an activity for filtering the data table. It is very simple to use. All you have to do is use the filter data table activity. In the filter data activity, I will pass the input data table as the complete data table, that is dt underscore data. Now what exactly is the filter? Now in that dt, in the complete data, I want to keep only the rows where the, what was the column name? I think it was industry name. Okay, I can check in my this guy also. I have just made it before the webinar. I will explain. Okay, so in the filter wizard, I am telling UiPath that you read the entire data, okay, and you filter the industry name wherever the industry name is this name, because I was able to successfully print this name in the message box. That means UiPath will also be able to find it. So in the filter wizard, I am telling UiPath that whatever data I have read from the Excel, the complete data, you keep only the rows where the industry name is matching to this industry name. And when you do so, you store the data in a temporary data table called DT underscore temp. Okay. Now, what should happen here? First, it will read the entire data. It will get each and every industry. The first industry would be agriculture and mining. This filter wizard will go and filter all the data in from the DT underscore data, and it will give you a DT underscore temp. Now I have the data table, and the requirement was simply to write the data in the new sheet. So now again, to write the data, I can use a write range activity. But now you can see, since I don't have the Excel application scope, I am free to use this write range. Now I will show you workbook write range also. In the write range, you simply have to pass where do you want to write the data. So let me go and select the same folder, our desktop, sorry, in the documents, in the temp folder, let me select the Excel webinar, and I will rename this to, let's say, output. Okay, so I am telling UiPath that you filter out the data, whatever you get, you store that data, and it will ask me the data. So data would be DT underscore temp. Now the sheet name would be nothing but the name which you have created the filter for. Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, now what we have done here, we have read the entire CSV. For each and every CSV, I have got the distinct header. For all the headers, we are iterating one by one in the for each loop. Then we are using a filter data table activity. We are telling UiPath that from the complete data, you just filter out where the industry name is matching this guy, and this guy will give me the names one by one. Okay, and whatever the output, you simply have to store it in this location, which is called output.xlsx. And as we have told that write range expects a data table, so the output of the filter data table is a data table which is dt temp. Let me save everything, go here and run the file. Okay, now let us see what happens. If everything is good, we should be created with an output file, and you can see the size is getting appended here, 153 KB, 174, and the bot is still running, 214 KB. We'll just wait for the execution because I have seen some 15 to 16. So the CSV file was 1053 KB. So the bot will be doing the operation for each and every data which was available in that. Okay, 296. Let us just wait for the execution to complete. So again, just repeating what we have done here, read the complete CSV, got the distinct value, iterating the distinct value, filtering the wizard, and writing the data in the Excel sheet. Now, when I am writing the data here, you would have noticed I am using the write range activity, and in the properties, I have not specified the add header. So that means the data will be pasted directly without any headers. If I check the headers, then it will use it. Okay. The processing has been completed. Let me go back here. I'll hit a quick refresh. I'll open the output.xlsx file. Okay. And you can see the bot has successfully created all the files. So if I just go to the mining, I can see all the data which was available for mining, for construction, for wholesale, for the retail, for accommodation. So bot was successfully able to differentiate and split the CSV into different sheet. But now just think that if you have to do this automation manually, how much time it would take, right? So that is why this is important. Now that was about the splitting CSV. Now the last part which I want to show is the joins. Okay, this is important. Please, we have some 23 minutes, 13 minutes, so I would can cover the joins here. Then we'll jump to the Q&A section. Okay, joins. So whenever you are having two set of data, you want to join the data, you will use something which are called joins. As of now, don't bother what is join, how do I do it. Just let's say I have one data set which is 100, 200, 300 to 700, and the other data set is having this data. Now what exactly is a joins? Okay, So let's say you have two data set 1 and data set 2. There are several kind of join. The first join is inner join. That means it will keep all the rows from data source 1, data source 2, which meets the join rule. That means it will, there are two data set. If you apply inner join, you will get the common record. Okay. When I say data set, these are nothing but the data table. So if you have two data tables and you apply inner join, you will get only the ones which are common. Okay. So if you remember our data set, this was our data set 1, this was our data set 2. If I apply a inner join to this data set, I would get 300, 500, 800, because these three are the common one. So inner join is simple, just keep all the rows which are common. The next one is called the left join. Left join simply means you have to keep everything from the left side, the data table 1, and only the common ones from the right side. Okay, so that is how it looks. So if this is the data set 1 where I am having all the rows, so this green one will be output. That means I will get everything from the data set 1 and only the one which are common in data set 2. So that is called left join. So if the diagram indicates, yellow means everything from the data set 1 and the common between the two. So if I have such a scenario, I will use the left join. Okay. Now what is a full join? So the picture indicates clearly, full join means you would get everything and everywhere. Whatever data you have, you can just use it in the full join. Okay. Now when I talk here, you would have seen, okay, so let me go to my webinar. I'll create a new sequence quickly, that whenever we apply something and I call this one joins, so I have seen three type of join, right? Left join, inner join, and full join. So you have to simply go and type here join. So this activity is available in the data tables. So how do I get the data table? Data table again I will get whenever I am doing some kind of an Excel operations. Okay. So in the join wizard, if you see, you have something called input data table 1, input data table 2, and the output again is the output data table. Okay. And there you have something called inner, left, and full. Then you have an option that which kind of column you want to search for. So if you want your both the data table is having ID, so you will type here ID is equal to ID. So that means I want to get everything between the first data table, second data table, and I want to store the output in a third data table. So these are all the options which you can try. Left, inner, full join. This would be useful whenever you are consolidating or creating a summary of anything. So that is how the join works. This is not a concept of Excel automation, but whenever you are having a data table, a large big data table to work, then you will go and use the joint data tables. Okay. So now in the okay. Now I want you guys to quickly go to a website which is called menti.com, MENTI, menti.com, and there you will have something. Okay, so I will just open, this is a small quiz and we are just wrapping up the session. So I want you guys to go to this website, which is menti.com. Okay. And okay. I think the previous session was not completed till, let me go and start it again. My presentations and isn't. I don't know what has happened to this guy. Okay, I am the only winner here. Okay, I don't know why it is not starting. Okay, then leave it. We can directly jump to the question I asked now. I will. Okay, let me see if I think I have to. I don't know why it is not working. It is not starting from the beginning. So apologies for that. That was the first time I was using the menti.com. now in the unmute themselves. So now I have given the access to the participants to unmute themselves. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask any questions if you have, or you can drop me in the chat and happy to take the Q&A. So that was all for this session. Thank you for attending. So these are some of the social media links where you can connect to me. And if you want to know more on the Excel, I have a dedicated channel for myself. I have a playlist which is simply created for the Excel automation. So whatever I was demonstrating, there are more and more activities. There is a full playlist which I have created for Excel automation that includes the read range, write range, delete range, everything in detail, doing the more of the Excel stuff. So you can refer this playlist in my channel. So that channel link is available here. This would be by this name. I have unmute the participants. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me. Okay, can you guys unmute yourself, or you can use the chat window also if you have any questions to ask. Okay, Sri Devi has asked something. Okay. Does the position start from? Okay, so most of this one I have answered in the session itself. Okay, so any feedbacks on the session? How was it? You guys can unmute yourself.
Mukesh, just
amazing.
to ask you a
Yeah.
question on
Yeah.
on the Excel application, that I noticed that you didn't switch off, or rather you didn't close the Excel window. So if I know that if you're using the workbook application, it will, I mean, with the Excel file still open, it will not work when you're running the robot.
Okay, so
Yeah.
workbook. Yeah. Okay, so I'll answer that. So when you go and use the Excel application scope, right? So Excel application scope has the option which is called a visible. Okay, this guy. In the
Okay.
properties, you have something called visible.
Okay.
So if you make this option unchecked, now everything will happen in the background, and you won't be able to see anything on the screen. Everything will happen in the background. So that will be useful when you have unattended robots which are running in the background and you don't want to do some kind of UI interaction or front end interaction. Then you can use this visible and uncheck this visible to happen everything in the background. In terms of the workbook activities, you don't have that option, because workbook activities will work even if the Excel, only when the Excel is not installed, right? So if the Excel is not installed, what will you see? So
now,
does that answer?
what I was trying to say is that many a times, you know, if I leave the workbook open,
Mhm.
you know, there will be an error to run the robot. And I
Right.
noticed that it didn't happen
would,
to you. Yeah.
right. It would say because why that has not happened to me, because I was using the Excel application scope.
Okay, just want
So
to confirm on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Excel application scope has that option. You can run even if the Excel is open. Okay.
Okay,
If I'm
thanks.
using the workbook activities, I would get that error that file is being used by some other process. I think that is the error which you are talking about, right?
Yep. Thank you so much.
File is being used by, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else? Any other question, guys?
Can you just explain about the different queries like link queue queries, and what else can you use within the tables? Like when you connect the tables, like here you have used the link queue queries. So is it
Okay.
mandatory to use such things when doing? Because I see most of the queries when they write, they are using this type of queries.
Okay. So see, link queue query is quick and faster way. So whatever operations we do on the data tables or in the any collection for that matter, we can always use the link queue query. For example, I have used here the filter data table, right? I could have easily write a link queue query to filter the table also, but the only thing is writing link queue is a bit difficult, and you would need to know all the knowledges, all the dot, all the syntaxes. But if you have the direct activity, you can use that, but performance wise LINQ would be faster. So why I'm using LINQ? Because for such kind of activities I was having no activity in UiPath, and either I have to use a filter data table activity, then I have to store one by one in some kind of array, then create an array. So I directly used a LINQ query, so that was faster. It gave me the same result. So that is how it is. So you can always learn LINQ. So this concept is coming from the C# world, programming world.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
Okay, so and for more of the sessions, you can always RSVP to the link which you have given. These are the links which you can connect to me. If you have any more questions, I am reachable at YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere. So you can just connect to me. So I think if we have no more session, then we can close this call. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you everyone for giving your time, and happy automation.
Thank you for the great presentation. Bye.
Thank you guys.